Sanya?
No, I'm done.
Oh, you're done. Okay. Kanteh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, Solicitor General, and the colleagues. My question is, the Honorable Minister did made mention of setting up a prosecution division to deal with the TRRC report for possible prosecution. Having looked at that, the evidence is very key in securing conviction in any prosecution. So now, most of the TRRC reports of alleged tortures did happen at the premises of the National Intelligence Office. And we were told, or we did know from the TRRC report, that most of those evidence, material evidence, were not available or been tampered with. So how did the Honorable Minister of Justice is going to go about with that issue?
The allegation of evidence tampering at the NIA?
Very. Because for this prosecution for the prosecution office that you intend to establish to work effectively, they need an evidence base. And we were told that the report of the TRRC did reveal that most of the evidence, material, yes, regarding torture, were being tampered at the National Intelligence Service. So, how are your office going to deal with those evidence issues?
Well, for now, at this stage, the Special Prosecution Division that will be set up will have an investigation department. So they will make assessment of the available evidence, and they will advise government if they get to that point that they needed certain evidence in the NIA and this piece of evidence were destroyed. And they would advise government what to do at that stage.
Okay. The second question would be on the reparation of victims. You did mention that the victims, some of them have already started receiving the reparation, interim reparation. So, which we are going to commend the government stance on that. So we will say it, Honorable Minister, being the one responsible for this transitional justice, to facilitate this transitional justice, will urge your ministry to fast track some of these reparations to the victims, because as far too long these victims have undergone series of pain. It have now established, according to TRRC report. Most of these victims, some of them have suffered since 1994 to date. They are crying, Some of them lost their loved ones. Some of them, are denied of their, life and livelihood support from their loved ones. So we urge the Honorable Minister to come up with a policy to fast track this reparation, benefit to the victims. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. On this, we are in full agreement. The issue of victims is central to whatever we are doing. In fact, we've thrown the challenge to the victims to work with us to see whether in the interim, before the victims bill is enacted, between us, that is the victims and government, if we can agree on any kind of mechanism, independent and trusted mechanism that can do the work of what we intend to create, the successor institution. You know, the problem with reparation, it deals with resources. And government doesn't want to have a hand in the way these resources are administered because it can be complicated. Even the interim payments, the TRRC did, some victims are not already happy with it, they are complaining. That is either not fairly done or it's not adequate. So for us, it's a hands-off approach. But we want to have an arrangement that the victims can trust, but that will also be in line with the way public funds are managed. Once we get such an institution up and running, we will definitely not lack at least the seed money that we can put there to start with. And because it's an ongoing process, this will form continuously. It will continue to form part of our national budget. And whatever our development partners have, they want to chip into that kind of fund, they will put it there. But the moment now is assuming government is ready to even pay another 50 million, another 100 million. To who are you going to give it? Who is going to administer it? This remains the challenge. This is what we are working with them. So in the meantime, the only option on the table is to expedite the enactment of the victims' bill. But in the meantime, if we are open to suggestion, if we can have a kind of arrangement that is government can trust, but they, the victims too, can trust, we will knock at the door of government, Ministry of Finance, and say, at least give us 50 or 100 or whatever amount is there. Let something be ongoing. But overall, I can assure you we are very sensitive to the plight of victims, and their issue is central to whatever we are doing.
Yes, I will.
Thank you, Chair, for giving me